What if you woke up tomorrow morning and your entire city was empty, not destroyed, not flooded, not bombed, just silent, no neighbors, no traffic, no children playing outside, just the wind moving through broken windows and empty streets? Now here is what nobody tells you: this has already happened 10 times inside the United States of America. And in this video, we are going inside every single one of them. But stay until number 1, because that city has a story so strange, so documented, that even seasoned historians cannot fully explain it. Let's count down. Welcome to Prime Roof, where we uncover the darkest, strangest, and most forgotten corners of American real estate. I am about to show you 10 cities that entire populations walked away from, and the reasons are more disturbing than you think. Number 10. Centralia, Pennsylvania. I want you to imagine something. You step outside your front door on a quiet Tuesday morning. You look down at the road, and the road is cracking open. Steam is rising from the cracks, and the ground beneath your feet is over 900 degrees Fahrenheit. This is not a nightmare. This is Centralia, Pennsylvania. And this is happening right now. In 1962, an underground coal mine caught fire beneath this town. Nobody could stop it then, and nobody has stopped it since. That fire has been burning for over 60 years. Geologists say it could continue burning for a very, very long time, maybe decades, maybe longer. Nobody knows exactly when it will end. One by one, families packed whatever they could carry and left. The government demolished most of the buildings. The United States Postal Service officially revoked the town's zip code, erasing Centralia from the system entirely. Today, fewer than 5 people still live in Centralia. 5 people in an entire town, on top of a fire that has never stopped. And the scariest part, the fire is still spreading on. Number 9. Cahaba, Alabama. Not every abandoned city died because of a disaster. Some died because of a decision. Cahaba, Alabama was once something remarkable. It was the very first state capital of Alabama. Government buildings, wealthy families, thriving commerce. A city that felt permanent. Then the floods came. The Great Flood of 1825 damaged the statehouse badly enough that politicians began asking a painful question: why are we building here? They moved the capital to Tuscaloosa, and when the government left, everyone else followed. Residents followed the jobs, followed the money, followed the future. And Cahaba, the city that was supposed to be Alabama's proudest achievement, became a ghost town almost overnight. Today it is a historic site. Ruins and old foundations sit where buildings once stood. Moss covers what remains. The city that did not burn, did not flood away completely. It simply got left behind. There is something quietly heartbreaking about that. We are just getting started. And I promise you, the cities coming up carry stories that are significantly heavier. Stay with me. Number 8. Bodie, California. In 1879, Bodie, California was electric. Over 10,000 people lived here during the height of the gold rush. Hotels, saloons, schools, churches, banks, newspapers. It was one of the wildest and most alive towns in the entire American West. Then the gold ran out, and what people left behind in Bodie has fascinated historians ever since. Personal belongings, furniture, kitchen items, clothing, scattered exactly as they were on the day residents walked out. Now, the famous stories you may have heard about breakfast left on the table and a decorated Christmas. Walk through Bodie today and you feel it immediately. Time stopped here. Number 7. Pitcher, Oklahoma. The Pitcher, Oklahoma did not die slowly, it was poisoned. For decades, Pitcher sat on top of one of the most productive lead and zinc mining operations in the entire tri-state district, spanning Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri. The mining companies dug deeper, faster, harder, with almost no regard for what was happening above ground. And above ground were families, children, schools, blood tests came back and the results were deeply alarming. Children in Pitcher were found to have dangerously high levels of lead in their blood, some of the highest recorded in any American community. The ground beneath entire neighborhoods had become unstable from decades of mining below. The water was contaminated, the soil was contaminated. In 2008, the Environmental Protection Agency made it official. Pitcher was declared too dangerous to inhabit. Residents were bought out by the government, they left, and then the demolition came, streets torn up, buildings knocked down. An entire American town officially erased. But here is what stays with me about Pitcher. This was not some unavoidable natural disaster. The contamination built up over years, the warning signs were there, and the families of Pitcher paid the price with their health, their homes, and everything they had built. Today Pitcher is nearly silent, just empty lots and the memory of a community that deserved far better. Number 6. The Packard Plant. Detroit, Michigan. Number 6 is not a city, it is one single building, but this building is so vast it almost defies imagination. The Packard Automotive Plant in Detroit, Michigan, 3.5 million square feet, roughly 40 acres of factory floor. And for decades after that, while Detroit changed around it, this giant structure just stood there. Other businesses used corners of it for storage here and there over the years, but mostly it's Saturday, accumulating decay, accumulating graffiti, accumulating silence. Floors collapsed under their own weight, trees pushed through cracked roofing, water found every weakness and exploited it. It became the largest symbol of industrial abandonment in America. A building the size of a small city, hollowed out completely. Demolition finally began in 2022. But for most of its abandoned life, this place stood as a monument to what happens when an economy moves on and leaves its past behind. We are past the halfway point. And I have saved the most haunting stories for the second half. Number 1 especially, I have not forgotten what I promised you. Number 5. Kennecott, Alaska. I need you to think about how remote Alaska is. Now go further. Kennecott sits at the edge of a glacier, surrounded by mountains on every side, completely cut off from the rest of the world. In the early 1900s, this near impossible location had a fully functioning town, a hospital, a school, a general store, hundreds of workers, and a copper mine that produced well over $200 million worth of ore. By 1938, the copper was running out and the economics no longer made sense. The Kennecott Mines Company made a decision: they would close the operation, and so, in 1938, the town was shut down and workers departed. What makes Kennecott different from entire blocks sit empty today? Beautiful old theaters with their marquees still up, dark inside. Grand churches with their stained glass intact, no congregation left to fill them. Hotel ballrooms with chandeliers still hanging from the ceilings, silent. Gary is not technically a ghost town. People still live there. People still fight for it every single day. But the ghost of what it used to be is present on every street. This is what the end of an industry looks like when you walk through it. It looks like Gary. Number 2. Hanford, Washington. Most people have heard of Pripyat, the Ukrainian city abandoned after the Chernobyl disaster. America has a site that carries comparable weight, and far fewer people know about it. During World War II, the United States government established a secret production facility in the remote desert of Hanford, Washington. The workers who built and operated it were told very little. They knew they were doing important war work. Most did not know the specific nature of what they were producing. What Hanford produced was plutonium, the material used in the atomic bomb dropped on Nagasaki, Japan. After the war, Hanford continued operating as America's primary nuclear weapons production site for decades, and during those decades, the handling of radioactive waste was deeply inadequate. Waste was discharged. The communities around Hanford have changed over the years, some have grown, some have quietly declined. The land itself carries a weight that does not go away. America's nuclear history is real, and Hanford is where you feel it most directly. Number 1. Moonville, Ohio, population 0. By the early 1900s, this small railroad settlement had essentially ceased to exist. The railroad moved on. The people moved on, the town disappeared without much ceremony. Almost nothing of it remains today, except one thing: the tunnel. The Moonville Tunnel was cut through a hillside in the 1850s to carry the railroad through what is now the Zaleski State Forest in southern Ohio. It still stands today, stone walls, a dark passage, light visible at the far end, and for as long as locals can remember, generations of people have told the same story about this tunnel: a light appearing inside, moving, with no clear source. At least one death connected to the railroad near this tunnel is part of the historical record. Local legend has grown considerably around that history over the years, as it tends to do with isolated, atmospheric places. Whether the light people report has a rational explanation: reflected moonlight, atmospheric conditions, something else entirely, nobody has definitively answered. What is true is that the Moonville Tunnel has drawn curious visitors for well over a century. And every person who walks through it describes the same thing: a feeling like the place remembers something, like the walls hold on to whatever happened here. Some of these cities died from natural forces, some from industrial greed, some from economics that nobody could stop, and some from the quiet weight of simply being forgotten. Each one of them was once full of life, full of noise and children and arguments and laughter and ordinary Tuesday mornings. And now, silence. Which city affected you the most? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one, and if you want to go deeper into the actual buildings, the actual histories, the actual stories behind these places, subscribe to Prime Roof. Because next week we go somewhere even more forgotten. I will see you there.